Welcome to The Explainer. Sometimes the biggest lessons come from the most unexpected places. Today, we're digging into an ancient story. It's all about a rebellion, a pretty intense confrontation, and ultimately a powerful lesson on what it really takes to achieve our goals.
So, what can a 2,500-year-old squabble over dinner possibly teach us about hitting our goals today? Well, a lot, actually. It all kicks off with what seems like a totally simple, reasonable instruction. But the way people react, oh boy. It uncovers this fundamental challenge that, let's be honest, we all face whenever we try to get better at something.
So, our story starts with the Buddha giving his followers, his mendicants, some pretty straightforward advice, really all about their health and general well-being.
He tells them, look, I stop eating at night, and you should too. He says it helps him feel healthier, more nimble, strong. Sounds simple enough, right? So his followers take this message on the road. But when they get to this town, Katagiri, the local monks there are not having it. They just flat out refuse.
And this was their whole argument. They're like, look, why should we give up something we enjoy right now for some fuzzy benefit way down the line? And honestly, isn't that a question we ask ourselves all the time? That immediate comfort versus the long-term payoff? It's a classic struggle.
So when the Buddha gets word of this little rebellion, he calls the monks over. But here's where it gets really interesting. He doesn't just lay into them about the rule. No, he pivots to what's really going on here, the deeper issue.
He asks them this killer question. He's basically saying, have I ever told you that this path is one size fits all? That you can just feel however you want, do whatever you want, and everything will magically get better? And of course, the monks have to admit, no, sir, he's never taught anything that simple.
And bam! That just perfectly lays out the core lesson. The problem was never really about eating at night. It was about their failure to tell the difference between actions and feelings that help you grow and ones that hold you back. It's not about just blindly following a rule. It's about understanding the consequences.
So he really breaks it down for them. He's saying, hey, not all pleasant feelings are actually good for you. And get this, not all painful feelings are bad for you. I mean, think about it in our own lives, right? The pleasure of smashing a bag of chips versus the pleasure you feel after a really good, healthy meal. Totally different. Or the pain of a killer workout that makes you stronger versus the pain of, twisting your ankle. The whole point is learning to tell the difference, developing the wisdom to know what to chase and what to let go of.
Okay, so this realization then leads the Buddha to start sorting people out based on where they are on this path. He uses this whole incident to create two really broad categories.
First up, you've got the perfected ones. For them, the work is done. The journey's over. They've laid down that heavy burden. But then there are the trainees, which is, let's face it, most of us. They are still very much on the path. The goal hasn't been reached yet. And for them, being diligent is everything.
And he doesn't stop there. Within those two big groups, he gets even more specific and identifies 7 different types of people you'll find on this path. And this breakdown is pretty revealing. It shows you the reality of a journey like this. It's a pretty small number, just 2 of the 7 types he points out who have actually made it to the finish line. The vast majority are still trainees, still in the thick of it, working toward the goal. And you can see all these different types here. You've got your direct witness, your follower by faith, but honestly, the labels aren't what's important. Look at this. The first 2, their work is done, finished. But the other 5, they're all still considered trainees. They might be at different points in their journey, relying on different things, some on faith, some on their own direct experience. But the bottom line is the same for all of them. The work isn't over. For most of us, we've got to keep going. And all of this brings us to the Buddha's final, really powerful point. He just draws the stark contrast between the kind of commitment a trainee needs and the lazy, entitled attitude of those rebellious monks. He calls them out on it, directly. He says their whole mindset is basically haggling. If we get to eat at night, then we'll practice. If we don't get this one little comfort, then we're not going to do it. And he makes it crystal clear that real progress just doesn't work that way. It's not a negotiation.
This leads him to define the only attitude that works for a trainee who's actually serious about their goal. It's this non-negotiable mindset.
And it's the total opposite of that haggling we just saw.
And this is the attitude he's talking about. This is the vow. It's this powerful, all-in commitment. It's basically saying, I don't care how hard it gets. Let my body waste away. I will not stop until I have achieved what I set out to do. It's the absolute polar opposite of haggling for a little more comfort. It's just total, unwavering dedication.
So that really leaves us with the question to ask ourselves, right? When you're facing a really tough, long-term goal, maybe it's your career, your health, or your personal growth, whatever, what's your default mode? Are you haggling for comfort, always looking for the easier way out? Or are you practicing with that total, unshakable commitment?